Good morning. It's Thursday, April 2nd, and today's topic is one that I think is particularly relevant for right now, and that is contagion. Now, obviously, we're in a period where physical contagion is on everybody's mind, but I actually want to extend that analogy to mental contagion. And the prompt was, what can I do to keep drama away today? So Marcus Aurelius says, drama, combat, terror, subservience. Every day, these things wipe out your sacred principles, whenever your mind entertains them uncritically or lets them slip in. So let's draw some parallels to our current situation. Just as we are hyper aware to who or what we're exposed to right now physically, we have to do the same with the information that we consume, whether that's the news, the radio, podcasts, private discussions, social media, whatever. Seneca, who was the advisor to Emperor Nero, goes on to say, "You ask me what is particularly important to avoid. And my answer is this: a mass crowd. It is something to which you cannot entrust yourself without risk. I never come back home with quite the same moral character I went out with. Something becomes unsettled where I had achieved internal peace." He goes on to use the analogy to say that when you go to a concert, you come back and you have a melody stuck in your head and you can't get that out. It's the same as when you're exposed to this kind of discourse. And so, just think about it. You go out and you're surrounded by people who are gossiping. You find yourself drawn into that kind of discussion you wouldn't otherwise entertain. You watch the news and it's hyper-sensationalism, and you find yourself reacting with fear or anxiety that's kind of unnatural to the way you normally are. Or you're caught in a politically divisive discussion. You find yourself more polarized than you normally would. So what are we to do? Are we to wall ourselves away from others? Are we to impose even more self-isolation? Are we supposed to retreat into the inner sanctity of ourselves? Sometimes that's the best thing to do. You can find that space for reflection. But you have to have a counterbalance. And humans are social creatures. And right now, in this period of social distancing, we need that interconnectivity more than ever. And just as we do physically, you have to carefully guard what you're exposed to. So in fact, we can use this period to let that play to our advantage. And that's where we look to Marcus when he says, when you need encouragement, think of the qualities of the people around you. This one's energy, that one's modesty, another's generosity, and so on. Nothing is as encouraging as when virtues are visibly embodied in the people around us, when we are practically showered with them. So let's use this time to go through an exercise of creating your personal board of directors. This is something that I did over the Christmas break, and I found it particularly useful. Your personal board of directors are your people, whether they're physically with you or away, who share your values, who can teach you, who can challenge you in a productive way, who have perspectives that you can trust. And make it a point to connect with these people regularly. If you've noticed an uptick in my communication, whether that's through phones or dinners or reaching out to arrange time for us to get together, you're probably on my board of directors. And so that means you have to go out of your way. If you have to set reminders to go ahead and make that phone call, do it. You're not imposing. If these people are that important to you, make that time to connect. They'll answer the phone, and if they don't, they'll get back to you when they can, because it goes both ways. You have to be vulnerable, you have to be honest, you have to admit your weaknesses, you have to ask for help, you have to offer the help. And so when I think about this, I just try to remind myself, be aware, be that positive influence. And remember that your choices and your behaviors are contagious too. So choose not to spread drama, fear, jealousy, anger, but rather make sure that you're spreading that positivity, that support, and that love for one another. Anyways, hope you found this useful. Have a great day.